brought mind map of the poem Aunt Jennifer's Tigers by Edwin Rich. I'll also be taking up the theme and the title of the poem. So before I take up theme and title, here are a few videos that you need to watch for your quick revision. So mind map of the chapter, the last lesson with important questions. Then Lost Spring, again mind map and important questions. Then Keeping Quiet, line by line explanation, important question, literary devices, everything, and Deep Water chapter. So all the links, they are there in the description box. Now we come to the theme of the poem, because once you understand the theme, it will be easier for you to understand the mind map also. So here is the theme. So male chauvinism, then a patriarchy, and a feministic viewpoint. So these are the important themes in this poem. Feministic viewpoint here stands for my Aunt Jennifer. She desires to be free like her male counterpart. She yearns to have those qualities. She wants to be bold. She wants to be courageous like her male counterpart. So that gives a feministic viewpoint to the poem. Then male chauvinism, that is male dominance and patriarchy. Again, you will find that in the poem. So now let's read the theme. So through the difficult marriage of Aunt Jennifer, the poet brings forth the theme of male chauvinism and patriarchy. So as I said, male chauvinism and patriarchy, because husband is very dominating and he doesn't let Aunt Jennifer do what she wants. So she is trapped. Aunt Jennifer is so fearful of her husband that she feels tormented even in his absence. So when we'll go through the poem, we'll find that husband is not present. Husband is not there in the scene, but still Aunt Jennifer is fearful. Still Aunt Jennifer is anxious and nervous. So such is the dominance of her husband. So the poem voices the sufferings of women at a time when women were expected to continue and bear even a toxic marriage in the name of tradition. So us time ki poem hai. So the poet is describing the situation of Aunt Jennifer at the time when women, they were expected to continue and to bear even a toxic relationship. So Aunt Jennifer is also going through such a marriage. She wishes to break free from its shackles. She wants to come out of that marriage. Maybe she wants to have a divorce, but she is not bold and courageous enough to do that. So she wants to be bold. She wants to be bold and she wants to be courageous. She longs to liberate herself. So this is important. She longs to liberate herself from the dominance of her husband, but she is stopped by the customs of the society. Thus, the fearless and bold tigers that she embroiders on the canvas are in contrast to the life she is living. So, she is a very creative lady, and her creation is actually her vent of her emotions, of her desires. So वो जो tigers जो है वो बनाती है, जो embroidery करती है tigers की, bold and courageous tigers जो canvas पे बनाती है, so that are in sheer contrast to what she actually is, the way she is living. So the poem addresses the constraints of married life a woman goes through or the woman experiences. So this is the theme. Now we'll come to the mind map. So since the poem, it is divided into 3 stanzas, so I'll be taking up all the stanzas one by one, and I'll be doing literary devices also. So a quick explanation along with literary devices. So this mind map is going to give you a full revision. So here we have Aunt Jennifer. So she is doing embroidery, and it's a story of Aunt Jennifer. Let's take it in this way. A story of a lady. She is very creative, but she is submissive. She is subdued, and she is undergoing subjugation because of her dominant husband. And her only way out is her creation. And she has created a beautiful tapestry. And the first stanza describes that tapestry. It describes her creation. So in the creation, in the tapestry that she has embroidered, so there are tigers. Tigers, they are prancing. Tigers, they are fearless, and they are prancing across the screen. And tigers are called bright as topaz. So here we have tigers prancing and bright topaz denizens. They are the bright yellow shining residents of the green woods. So here you can see green woods, and they do not fear men. So there on one side she has drawn also under a tree there are men, and these tigers, they are unmindful of the men there. So tigers are fearless. So maybe the men, they are watching the tigers, they want to hunt them, but जो tigers हैं उनको उन men से बिल्कुल डर नहीं लग रहा. So here the men here, they represent ruthlessness, they represent dominance and superiority, and tigers यहाँ पे represent कर रहे हैं courage, boldness, fearlessness. So using these symbols, Aunt Jennifer जो है चाहती है, what she wants that she should be like, so that she has portrayed on her canvas. So tigers do है, how they are moving there in the tapestry. So tigers, they are moving elegantly, gallantly, and with confidence. So sleek, chivalric, and certainty. So these are the words that are used by the poet to describe the pace, the movement of the tiger. So it's elegant, it's gallant, and with confidence. So all these are actually qualities of human beings. So masculine, these qualities are masculine. So here it has been personified. Tigers have been personified. Now let's do the literary devices from this stanza and then we'll move further. So literary devices, imagery. So tigers prancing and men beneath the tree. So that is imagery. Metaphor, bright topaz, because tigers, they has been called as the color of the tigers as bright topaz, like that of gem. So anaphora, line 3 and 4. So you can keep your book in front of you so that you can see line 3 and 4, how it is anaphora. Because third line also beginning from they and the fourth line also beginning from they. So that is why similar words in consecutive lines. So at the beginning of the line. So that is anaphora. Then rhyme scheme of the stanza is AABB. Now the symbols, the important symbols here. Tiger stands for courage, fearlessness, and free spirit. And men stands for ruthlessness and dominance, as I have discussed. Personification. So tigers here have been personified. So chivalric, it means gallant, knightly, and heroic. And these are the masculine qualities. So that is why chivalric, through this word, tigers have been personified. Now we move on to the next stanza. Now in the next stanza, the reality, Aunt Jennifer's reality has been described by the poet. So first stanza जो है वो उसकी creation है, उसका vent है, उसके emotions है. But the second stanza gives us the real picture. So there's a suffering in the second stanza, there's nervousness, and there's anxiety. So Aunt Jennifer's fingers, they are fluttering as she is doing embroidery. So why they are fluttering? Because of nervousness, because of anxiety. So fingers, they are fluttering. It shows oppression. It is showing that she is the oppressed one. And she is so oppressed that it is hard for her to pull out that ivory needle. वो needle जिसके साथ embroidery कर रही है, it is difficult for her to pull out that needle. Now, why it is hard for her to pull the needle? It's not because of her physical debility or she lacks, strength, but it is her mental trauma. She is under such trauma that she is not able to, she is burdened, she is not able to pull that ivory needle. It seems so heavy to her. So then the poet describes the massive weight of uncle's wedding band. So wedding band, the wedding ring that she is wearing on her finger. So that is also very heavy for her. So it sits heavily upon Aunt Jennifer's hand. So again, it is representing restrictions of marriage, her mental agony. So these restrictions are because of her husband, and the representation is of marriage is on her finger in the form of that wedding band. So it is again showing suppression. So she is under agony, mental agony, and her fingers, they flutter because of anxiousness, because of nervousness, maybe at the thought of her husband, and she is not able to pull that ivory needle. Now we come to literary devices of this stanza. So you can see here the hand, the finger, here you can see the ring, the wedding band around her ring. So this is representing suppression. And the literary devices now here. So alliteration, first of all, fingers are fluttering. So fur sound here, fur of finger and fur of fluttering. And then hyperbole, massive weight. It is hyperbole. Hyperbole means exaggeration. So obviously wedding band, it cannot be so heavy that she cannot even pick up her hand or she cannot even pull the ivory needle. So it is hyperbole. It's exaggeration, and it is representing the weight of restrictions. It's not the weight of the band actually. It is the weight of restrictions of marriage. So wedding band, it is symbolizing restrictions, uncle's dominance. And ivory needle, again here, it is symbolizing burden of toxic relationship. It is the burden of toxic relationship that is taking toll on her mind. And because of that, she's not able to concentrate. She's not able to work properly. Again, the rhyme scheme is AABB. So these are the literary devices from here, from second stanza. Now I move on to the next stanza, the third stanza. Now here in the third stanza, It is describing a future moment. Now, the poet is taking us into future with a hope that in future, when Aunt Jennifer dies, at least she'll be free at that time from all these ordeals, from all these problems. So, with this hope, the poet takes us into future. But now, what we find there that though Aunt Jennifer is dead, but still what happens? Her fingers they've stopped. She's not working. She's not doing any embroidery, but she will still be surrounded by the customs and restrictions of society. There'll still be dominance of her husband. Now, how? Because that ring, that wedding band will still be there on her finger. So around her finger, that ring is still there, and which is representing customs, which is representing traditions and restrictions and dominance of her husband. So here again, she has died, but still she won't be free in the true sense. So here now, the tigers that she has embroidered on the canvas, on the other hand, the tigers they will remain free. The tigers they will be jumping, they'll be prancing, they'll be moving freely, proud and unafraid. So her creation will the tigers they'll keep on living in her creation, but although she will die, but her creation will live. And the desire that she has to be free, that desire will never be fulfilled. Now the literary devices from this stanza. So here we have prancing tiger and the literary devices. So here transferred epithet. So we have transferred epithet in terrified hands. So here terrified hands. Hands obviously they are not terrified. Here Aunt Jennifer is terrified. Then enjambment in line 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 of third stanza. So you can keep your book in front so that you can find out where this enjambment is there. Then alliteration in the words prancing and proud. So again P prancing and P proud. Then we have pun. So this is important in the word ringed. So the line is ringed with ordeals. So here the word ringed is showing us pun. So first the word ringed here it shows the ring around her finger. So finger is ringed, the wedding band. And second, ringed is she is surrounded. She is ringed by ordeals, by problems, surrounded by problems from which she is not able to come out. So there's pun in the word ringed. Again, the rhyme scheme is same AABB. And tone of the poem, throughout the poem, it's sad and it's serious. It's not hopeful. Then irony. Now, irony is that a weak and submissive woman she creates and she weaves strong and confident tigers. So that is the irony. So these are the literary devices in the third stanza. Now, I hope that the mind map is clear along with literary devices that I've revised quickly for last minute revision. I'll be taking up the detailed explanation in the other video where I'll be explaining line by line along with literary devices once again and important questions. Now I move on to the title. Now we have the title here. These are the image credits, and before I take on the title, don't forget to subscribe. The title here now. So in the poem, Aunt Jennifer's Tigers, so this poem it portrays what she desires to be. The tigers seen by her, they are by all means in contrast to her real self. So tigers, they are in contrast to her real self. The tigers, they are bold, they are brave, they are fearless, and unmindful of the presence of the men who can hurt them. But Aunt Jennifer suffers even in the absence of her husband. So टाइगर्स जो है बोल्ड हैं, करेजियस हैं, fearless है, लेकिन आंट जेनिफर उसके हस्बैंड के आसपास ना होने के बावजूद भी she is afraid of her. She feels subjugated. So the freedom of spirit enjoyed by the tigers cannot be enjoyed by her, not even after her death. So she is not free even after her death. She is enslaved, whereas her tigers are free. So since she wants to be like those tigers, so the title is apt. Aunt Jennifer's Tigers. She wants to be like those tigers. So the title is apt and it is justified. So that's all for today. I hope that you've liked the video and you've understood the poem. So important questions, literary devices, line by line explanation. Now again, I'll be doing it in another video. So till then, happy watching and happy preparation.